Hello punters and welcome back to another Saturday racing preview. Of course, in this video looking at the Randwick meeting tomorrow. Obviously Group 1 Stakes, Winx Stakes, Raceday. Really looking forward to it. Obviously, really big meeting and fantastic to have Group 1 racing back. We're really starting to get the sense of spring racing once again. So really looking forward to getting stuck into that. Obviously some plenty of other good racing as well to be seen in the program with the Toy Show Quality in race number 6. Obviously, race number 7 is the Winx Stakes, and in race number 5 got the Show County as well, which has got a really hot field there as well. So really looking forward to getting stuck into that. So without any further ado, we're going to get straight into it. Race number 1 tomorrow at Randwick, starting at 12 o'clock. So much earlier start than Moonee Valley. So make sure that you're prepared for that in the morning at 12 o'clock to get started. The first race on the program is a 2,400 metre race, benchmark 78, and it has the 8 horses to go around, so we got the 3 dividends, which is fantastic. Look at the speed map here. I'd say that Home Ground and Kiss the Bride will probably roll forward off the inside barrier, but I'd say Home Ground will probably get towards the front. True Marvel won't be too far off, and maybe Two Crew might roll across an outside barrier as well to get prominent. But look, I think that Kiss the Bride's going to get into a really good spot here, and it'll get every opportunity to win this race, and I think it's got a good chance as well. It's obviously been pretty good its last 3 starts, hasn't missed the top 3 finish, and I thought its last start win at Randwick was pretty good, beating Monsieur Sissu, has since come out and franked the form, winning at Canterbury on Wednesday. So the form's pretty good around To Kiss the Bride there. Obviously comes into this now. Its 5th run this preparation. Obviously Rock Hard Fit by now. It's got a win on a wet track before. And I just think it's going to have a perfect run of the race. It'll be really hard to beat. So it goes on top for me with Josh Parr in the saddle. In for second, I have got number 2, Desert Path, who obviously bounced back to form last start on the heavy track at Rose Hill, beating Birth of Venus. That was a really nice win, a very impressive win as well. And I think I've mentioned this in my Moonee Valley video, but 3 starts back, finished second at Tigger Royale, who's since franked the form as well. So the form around Desert Path's been pretty good. He also just had to get that heavy track win last start, because he obviously has renownedly not been too good on a heavy to wet track, but he did tick that off last start, and obviously if he runs like that again, he'll run pretty good again. But $3.80 not quite the right price for me. I do think Kiss the Bride's the better chance, so that's why I've got those 2 in the order that I've got them in, 1 and 2. Home Ground's got a very good chance. I did like this last start at Canterbury and backed it and finished second behind Tochi there. Now, Tochi was a little bit disappointing at Wednesday at Canterbury in the last, but I do think this horse is going to improve immensely off that run there, stepping out 2,400 metres. A distance range that I think that he's really looking forward to. He obviously ran at the 1,900 last start, so it's a nice step up in distance. He still hasn't ticked off that wet track win, which is obviously the concern for me at the $4.80, but he will appreciate stepping up in distance and being 4th up into this preparation, so he goes in for 3rd. And then in for 4th, I've got number 7, True Marvel, who I thought was a little bit over the odds here at $13. It was really good winning last start at Newcastle over 2,900 metres. That was on a Saturday race where it did elect to run it at Newcastle instead of running at, I believe, Rose Hill was that Saturday, or maybe it was Randwick. But yeah, the fact, look, it ran really well on that occasion and got back to winning ways, which is maybe what Matt Smith wanted to do, just to get him a little bit more confidence again after a couple of poor runs, especially the start prior to that last start win, which was at Rose Hill over 2,400 metres. But comes back in distance, back to the 2,400 here. Obviously is very well conditioned on a wet track, so no issues there. And only has to carry the 53.5 kilos, so it gets a bit of a weight claim on some of these. So $13 is a pretty good price about it. So they're the 4 I'm quite keen on. Birth of Venus is probably the other one that's got a bit of a chance. I'm not sure if she's going to be able to overturn it on Desert Path, really. I know they get a little bit of a weight swing, I believe, here. So let me just double check on that. Yeah, so I mean, Desert Path goes up 2.5 kilos from Birth of Venus. Could be enough to change it between them, but Desert Path did seem to have a little bit more to give there, but in front of Birth of Venus. So they're probably the ones that I am most keen on. But number 1, Kiss the Bride's going to get the perfect run of the race, and is the one I want to be on. So it goes on top for me, ahead of number 2, Desert Path, in for 2nd, in for 3rd, number 4, Home Grounder, and in for 4th, number 7, True Marvel. Moving on to race number 2 on the program now, we've got a 1,100 metre Tab Highway handicap. Obviously a very big field for this highway race, as there usually is, and coming with that is plenty of speed in this race here. very much struggle to find who the out-and-out leader is going to be. I'd probably say maybe I'm on break or Menemith if it gets out of the barriers from barrier number 4, so because they're obviously from barriers number 2 and 4 respectively. Toto's usually like to get up towards the pace. Blitzer, PD, Emmylette, and Lobo and Leroy for the 2 outside barriers like to roll forward. So going to be a very good tempo to this race here, and I think it'll set up nice with some of the back markers, and one of those, so I think will be back in the field, will be the favourite, and it's Pinnacle Prince, and I think it's got a good chance of win here. I really liked its win at Scone on the soft track there, and really did win nicely. Also, that was its debut performance, and the Kavanagh Yard have 2 runners in this race here, and obviously this one's the favourite. They've both been equally supported, and that's why I do like both of them as well, so I can see why they've both been supported. I just think that this colt here, this 3-year-old colt, Pinnacle Princess, might have a little bit of just that little bit more on the 4-year-old mare, and It's Me, and that's why I've gone with it on top. But look, It's Me, look, she was all equally impressive at Scone as well, winning on debut, and I really like that performance on the soft track. So they're the 2 to beat. I think Kavanagh has a good chance on getting the Quinella in this race here, so I've got those 2 on top. To beat number 1, Leo, who can bounce back off its last start performance. It obviously finished 8th in the high race at Randwick on the Kensington track. Comes back onto the course proper, where it did win first up. When it was paying 41 to 1. I think that they repeated that type of performance here. Consider it run pretty well. That was on a heavy track. Obviously hasn't got the greatest soft track form, and at the moment we're playing with a soft 7. But look, I wouldn't surprise me if we get downgraded in that heavy 8. Obviously, like always, as I always ask you, Sydney Siders, please let me know down in the comments down below, and also other viewers of this program here that aren't too familiar with what's going on in New South Wales, what the weather's like, and what perhaps your discretion will be on what the track might end up being tomorrow, whether it's a soft or heavy. But look, number 1 Leo, I just thought it was a bit over the odds, considering it's just had one bad run really, and obviously the start prior to its last start performance was really good, so kind of can expect it to bounce back at the $19, especially with all that pace on the race. It's going to be able to come on nicely from the back, similar to how it did first up this preparation. And number 4, Menemith, is also the horse that's probably got the most intrigue here in this race for me. Has got probably the biggest amount of ability, and but it's obviously first up, and on a wet track is just a little bit of a query. But if it jumps out well, gets a really nice run in the race, I think it can run a good race at the $9. So it's the other one that I think's got a good chance. And the one that I'm also not going to leave out is number 6, Emmylette, who at the $12. I think it's another one who's got a decent enough chance here. So look, very open high race, but I do think that the 2 Kavanagh runners are the ones to beat. And number 15, Pinnacle Prince, goes on top for me, the 3-year-old colt. Ahead of number 4, it's stablemate. Number 14, It's Me. In for second. In for third, I've got number 1, Leo. And in for fourth, number 4, Menemith. Moving on to race number 3 on the program now, and it's the Heineken Benchmark 78 over the 1600 metres. Look at the speed map here. Pretty competitive field, this one. I think Frosty Rocks and Mercurial Lad will be able to pair off and lead this field up. This is so will probably just come in from behind them, and Rothenberg won't be too far off either. But look, I'm really keen to play Frosty Rocks here. I think it's going to be a really easy time in the pace, and if we get into that sort of heavier range, I think this horse will come right into the thick of things. Surprisingly, on a soft track, so 4 starts for just the 2 placings, but on a heavy track, has the 5 wins for a win and 2 placings. So look, it's going to be much fitter, and it's absolutely rock hard fit by now, really. And the third last time out, where it finished behind New King and Word for Word, I thought it was a decent enough run. Obviously, led them up and just got run down late by New King, who there is a bit of a weight swing between them this time round. Obviously, New King carried 57 last time out, now carries 59.5, and Frosty Rocks last start carried 58 and stays level weight. So New King has gone up in the weight, so I think that might just work in a Frosty Rocks' favour, and I think $6 is a nice price bet, especially when it looks to get a really easy time on the speed. So it goes on top for me, ahead of number 2, New King, who was very impressive last start, and obviously, like I said, maintained his perfect second up record. I was really impressed with that performance, and was very happy because I obviously got on it myself and tipped it to any of the viewers out there, and that was a really nice win under James McDonald. And could definitely go well again. $3.50 is just, obviously, like I always do, I do tend to sway away when they chop down in the price, but I do concede it's got a decent enough chance. The other horse that I thought this horse was well over the odds, and it's number 6, Attorney. Now, I know this horse is looking for much further than the 1600 metres. But this horse has got ability on these, and that's in my view anyway. And has won first up before, 3 starts for a win and a placing. Has had 4 starts and is on a soft track for 2 wins. So I just think this horse has got a decent enough chance at the $27 with Jason Cole in the saddle, and has had a couple of trials leading into this, nothing too heavy, and I guess hasn't really been asked for too much effort, and just little tick overs. And I think that, look, I think he can run well first up here. He's got a definite each way chance, so he goes in for third for me at the $27. Then for fourth, number 12, Rothenberg, right down the bottom of the weight. So I think he can run well again. He obviously was pretty good last time out, finishing third behind Montefilia and Papa Warrior, which is a pretty good form line, and probably better than some of the ones that some of these have. But he obviously is going to need to improve. And barrier number 11 is probably not the worst, because he is a horse that gets wide and winds up, and obviously he was right down the bottom of the weight, so he gets a bit of weight on these as well, so he could probably run a good race. Adana's the other one who I think runs well. He obviously bounced back to form last start at Randwick, beating a word for word, so very similar form lines to the likes of Frosty Rocks and New King, who obviously finished around word for word as well. So he's paying $7. He's obviously very good in the wet, and the other one that I was also thought was a bit of a chance is number 11, This Is So. Now, this horse is probably going to want it to stay in that soft range. If it gets into that heavy range, obviously it's had 3 starts on a heavy track for no wins, no placings, but it's 2 from 2 on soft going. And the last start performance was really good at Canterbury. I was on it that day as well, as was anyone who followed me in at Canterbury that day. And obviously it looked like Barnum was going to get past it, but gee, he showed a great kick and determined us to keep fighting. He was 3 wide the whole trip in that race, and he just kept fighting on, and he managed to hold off Barnum, who basically peeled off his back, had the perfect run, had the cover, whereas obviously This Is So was 3 wide, no cover. But This Is So just kept kicking and did enough to win. So I think it's got a good chance as well in the race. But look, the numbers for me, I've got number 3, Frosty Rocks, on top. I think it's just going to be able to lead the field up and dictate the terms, and it'll be really hard to beat. So it goes on top for me, ahead of number 2, New King, and for second. In for third, I've got number 6, Attorney, who I think is well over the odds. And then in for fourth, I've got number 12, Rothenberg. Moving on to race number 4 now, and it is the other feature race that I did mention, because I don't even look this early in the program. I'm so not used to them putting good feature racing early on in the program, but it is in race number 4. It's the Silver Shadow Stakes. Obviously, really good crop of 3-year-olds here that are resuming as 3-year-olds, obviously previously 2-year-olds. And really looking forward to this race here. It's a really hot field to contest this race, and look at the speed map here. I'd suggest that Karkat will probably try and spear across the outside barrier and get towards the front, and probably will be able to do so. I don't see too many of these other ones really pushing on for the lead, so I think Karkat will actually find the lead with not too much worries there. Look, this is a really interesting race, and it's a pretty hard one to split some of them, really. But look, I have gone with number 2, Thermosphere, just because it's got the win on the wet track before, and particularly the heavy track, and I just liked him last preparation. I thought he was always going to improve. I liked her last preparation. I always thought she was going to improve in a bit of time, and I think she's going to come back well here. And I think $12 is a good price about her. So I've gone with a bit of value in what is a very open race. So she goes on top for me. Ahead of number 1, Dame Giselle, obviously she's got a stack of ability as well in her own right. She's had a good trial leading in behind Invictus Salute and Splintex, the Matthew Smith pair. And look, she's obviously got, she trialled well. She's got great form from last preparation. She's won here at the track before, won on a wet surface. So I think she's got a very good chance. So she goes in for second for me. In for third, number 3, See You Soon, who is the favourite in the race. Look, I don't think she should be favourite. I think that Dame Giselle had her measure last preparation. I know that because I did back See You Soon a couple of times last preparation, but it does get barrier number 1, which is a bit of a key, but she tends to get back in her runs anyway. But I remember was one of her first wins of her racing career, and in fact, it was her only win. It was on debut, where she got up the rails and finished over the top of them. She's going to need to probably do that here again on Saturday. Just for me, the fact that she's going to need that bit of luck, $3.40 is a bit too short for me. But she goes in for third. She's got a lot of ability. Then in for fourth, number 6, Reduced Choice, who's the rock hard fit horse of the race, and has had 2 runs on a heavy track for a win and a placing. And second last one out of Bollard, I thought was a decent effort. And prior to that, obviously won really well at Canterbury. Got through the heavy surface really nicely to win there. So Reduced Image is the one that's rock hard fit, and that might work in its favour. Obviously, Carcat Arcat's the other one I think's got a bit of a chance in this race. Obviously, it's going to be able to probably lead them up and dictate the terms. Did win first up on debut last preparation, has had some good trials leading in, albeit on synthetic surfaces though. So that's my only concern here. But look, I think can run really well fresh, and there's another horse that I think's got a chance. And number 5, September Run, also can probably run pretty well first up here as well, who's been pretty well supported. Open up $11, now $7.50. But look, I've gone with number 2, Thermosphere. I think just that wet track form, and I think she's going to just improve over time. So I'm really keen to see her go first up. And she's paying $12, really nice price for me. So she goes on top for ahead of number 1, James Giselle, for second. In for third, I've got number 3, See You Soon. And then for fourth, I've got number 8, Miss Canada. Moving on to race number 5 now. It's the Copper Show County over 1,200 metres. A really good race here. Look at the speed map for this one. I'd say Laura Romain will probably lead. He might even be able to lead them up from the inside barrier. Special Reward and Wild Planet won't be too far off the speed either, but I'd say they'll be probably the main speed factors in the race. Obviously, we get to see Funstar and Probabile clash again. We loved seeing those clashes last spring and then in the autumn as well. These two just love running against each other. They're always a joy to watch them compete. Look, I think Lou Romain, he is overs here at the $23. I mean, especially if you're getting that heavy range. He's had 7 starts on a heavy track for 2 wins and 3 placings. He's very good first up. He's had 10 starts for 3 wins and 5 placings first up. So, look, he's obviously, and he's had some really nice trials coming in. So, Chris Lees has got him ready to go. He obviously has to give a bit of weight on some of these, but he's obviously got the genuine Group 1 form, whereas some of these do not. Look, I'm going to reserve my judgment. I'm going to have him in for second, just for the pure fact. But if we do get that heavy range at Randwick, which is where I need you Sydney sides to let me know down below, I'm going to be chiming into him at the $23. To be honest, he's going to be my second pick. I'm going to probably have something each way on him anyway, because the other one that I do like at an each way price is number 10, Rahiran, who obviously he's had 2 runs this preparation in comparison to some of these that are coming in first up that look probably a bit sharper than he is, but I guess that he's had those 2 runs, so he might be ready to go, whereas a couple of these will need the run or 2 under their belt. He was a good second last time out behind Eduardo, who's since come out and franked the form, winning again the other week, so that the form's there. Had a recent trial recently where he didn't get asked for a whole lot, but he really did motor through the line late. I know the trial reads 6th, but gee, he absolutely flew through the line, and obviously stablemate Bivouac was superb in that trial there. But Rahiran's got a good chance for me, so it goes on top, and I think it's just going to catch a few of these on the hop, and 53 kilos right down the bottom of the weights. It's going to get a really good chance. So it goes on top for me. Ahead of number 1, Lure Romain, who, like I said, if we're getting that sort of heavier range, get that heavy 8 range, I'm going to be having I could probably put him on top, but look, regardless, I'm going to have something each way on him anyway. In for third, number 3, Fun Star. Obviously, really looking forward to seeing her resume. She's had just the 1 trial leading in, which she wasn't really asked for a whole lot there. She obviously is excellent on a wet surface, so no problems there. And she's been absolutely perfect in her career. She's only missed the Quinella positions once in her 9-star career. So I think she could run a real bold race first up at the $12.70. I just thought there was a couple that were worth mentioning ahead of her. So she goes in for third. And in for fourth, number 6, Wild Planet. I think this horse can run really well first up. And it's probably the horse that actually you might get a decent price on it, and you could probably have an each way go at. I was very keen on him early doors. Obviously, there's a few in this race like Rahiran and Lure Romain who I'm more keen to back. But look, he's got a good chance. He's got good decent first up form. 5 starts for a win and 2 placings. He's had 3 starts the distance for a win and 2 placings. He has placed here at the track before, and his form from last preparation is seriously good. I mean, I'm just going to roll back through his form here. I mean, we're looking at runs behind the likes of, where is he? Wild Planet. Yeah, so going back last preparation, you're looking at a 7th behind Anahid, where he finished. He finished 2.75 lengths, so not really that far off Anahid, who's obviously a proper Group 1 horse. Streets finished 4th in a Group 1, the Futurity behind Streets of Avalon, Super Seth, and Melody Bell, if you don't mind. And then he went and won at Flemington. So, look, got a really good chance here in a race like this. That's elite form, and in comparison to what some of these potentially have, and I just think $8 is a good price about him. Other chance in the race, look, Special Reward. Obviously, I'm excited to see what he can do up against this type of field. He's excellent on soft surfaces, 3 starts for 3 wins, so he's 100%, and he's been really good throughout his career. 14 starts for 8 wins and 2 seconds, so and has the first up form, 4 starts for 2 wins. So he's definitely got a chance, and he's had a couple of nice trials leading in as well behind Sacred Sword, and also the one prior to that was behind Star Raider and Lure Romaine. So he's got a chance first up here at the $6. And obviously Probabile is probably going to want the track to dry out a little bit more, but if we get in that heavy range, I don't give him too much chance. But if it is in the soft surface, she does run really well on a soft track. 9 starts for 4 wins and 4 seconds, and obviously she has won first up before, and she's had a couple of decent enough trials behind the likes of Farnan and also Savatiano, so to come into this. So she's got a chance. Well, really hot race, this one, as you expect in the Show County. Well, I've got number 10 here, and on top, going with a horse that's got plenty of fitness in it on its side, and a third up run I think will be ready to go perfectly. And I like that James Cummings gave her that tick over trial. So so he goes on top for me, ahead of number 1, Lure Romaine, who, like I said, he's got the elite form in the field, and I think he'll be really hard to beat if we get into that heavier range. In for third, I've got number 3, Fun Star, and in for fourth, number 6, Wild Planet. Like I said, I'll probably throw Probabile in there, but I just wanted to make mention of Wild Planet because I thought it was to save the odds considering the form it showed last preparation, and I think it would probably I can see it drifting out of double figures, to be honest, as well. So if it does so, I probably might have a little sprinkle on that as well. So I'm really keen to play around Fun Star, who looks the genuine chance in the race, but look, I just think there's a couple of good value bets in that race there. Move on to race number 6, and it's the Toy Show Quality of 1100 metres. We get to see the resumption of Adelong. Look at the speed map here, sweet deal, and I'd say Adelong will probably be the 2 leaders of the race. In good time from the outside barrier to probably try to roll into a prominent position. I'd say Victor Salute from the inside barrier will try and roll up and hold them out, as will Season. So a bit of a tricky gate there for In Good Time and Adelong. And Adelong's going to have to show some good pace to get across some of these inside horses who, if the jockeys are well aware and they get off to a good start, they might try and make this favourite work. And that's why I've gone with number 9 in Victor Salute, who, if it gets into that heavy range, I think he comes right into the thick of things. He's had 4 starts on a heavy track for 1 win and 3 placings. He has 4 starts on a soft track for no wins and no placings, and his first up form's not great, but he is now with the Mark Newnham stable. And I mentioned before that obviously in a trial he finished with Splintex, and I said the Matthew Smith's pair. Now obviously Victor Salute used to be with Matthew Smith, he's now with Mark Newnham. So Mark Newnham's new stable. Sometimes you just see them frank that first up form when they come into a new stable. There's different training conditions and programs, and maybe I just think of Victor Salute off that inside barrier. He's a bit of overs, especially if the rain comes at $9. Because if the rain does come, that $9 won't last very long. So it's one of those things where I probably would get on now, and if it gets to that heavy range, then you'll get on at that $9 before he chimes in around the $6 mark, which I could see him possibly getting to. So he goes on top for me, ahead of number 6, Adelong, who she's an absolute star, and I think she's got a lot of ability. She's had a bit of a let up since her last run on the 11th of August. Which was obviously only a couple of starts. Sorry, that was a trial. That was the trial on the 11th of August where she finished second. That was a little tick over trial. Her last run was right back in June. So, yeah, I did think she had some time off. I was thinking, hang on, did I miss one of her runs somewhere? I'm sure I didn't. But, no, obviously she ran really well during the winter months and the back end of the autumn. And she's got really looking forward to seeing how she goes in this spring preparation. But $1.95 is a bit short for me. So she goes in for second. In for third, I've got number 2, Evelina, who I thought was a bit over the odds here, coming in first up for Chris Lee's. She's not a genuine first up performer. She definitely is a bit more of a second up performer, but I really liked her trial coming in. I thought that was a good trial. She obviously won that, and she has placed 3 times from 3 goes here at the track. So just think $21 is a little bit over the odds for her, and she could run a bold race. She just has to, especially if they run at a genuine tempo, she's going to be back in the field running on. So and if they're coming towards that sort of outside part of the track, it'll suit her really nicely. So she could run over the top of them. So she goes in for third for me. And then in for fourth, the other one that I think's got a pretty good chance is number 1, Sweet Deal. But obviously this horse, she's going to be wanting the track to dry out a little bit, which I'm not 100% sure if it will dry down to sort of that sort of soft 5 range. But she's obviously got a lot of ability, and she can run a bold race first up. So she's in for fourth for me. Other chances in the race, look, obviously Riverbird's well capable in wet conditions, especially the heavy track conditions, but I think she might need the first up run. At Seasons, he's obviously got, she's got a lot of ability. Just hasn't been able to put it together as such, really, the last couple of, especially last preparation. She had a couple of disappointing runs, but she comes in first up here at the 53 kilos. She's pretty good fresh, and she's pretty decent on a wet track as well, so she's got a chance at 750. But look, I've gone with number 9, Invictus Salute, on top for me, ahead of number 6, Adelong, in for second. In third, I've got number 2, Evelina, and in for fourth, number 1, Sweet Deal. Moving on to race number 7, it is the Group 1 Winx Stakes. We're really looking forward to this race, and it's a very good field, which is, I guess, it can be nothing more than a good thing, really. You don't want these Group 1 races being, especially with the likes of Winx being in the title, obviously the Superman, and you know, it's really good to see this real strong race, and that this is an absolute belter. This is honestly probably one of the best races so far. Definitely in the last 3 months. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it probably could even be one of the best races this year, because really there's a lot of intrigue in this race. A lot of horses who have got further targets down the line, the likes of Master of Wine, who was touted to go for a Melbourne Cup run, but I see that the Hawks team have jumped back off that, and they're actually going to go towards more Caulfield Cup and Cox Plate. So he's obviously going in that direction. Very Elegant. I think she might be going towards that type of direction as well. Melody Bell. Look, there's a lot of these horses that obviously look for further things this preparation. Fierce Impact, Villiers, Colding. But then you've got the likes of Bostonia's a great fresh horse. Nicanova, who's well fit by now. Brandenburg, really looking forward to seeing it return as a 4-year-old. Obviously some really good form. Last preparation as a 3-year-old. Flit. It's a fantastic field, and I'm really looking forward to getting into it. So look at the speed map here. I'd suggest that Conte Batiro will be up towards the pace. Wolf, Quackerjack, and Dream Force will all be up, leading them up. And I'd suggest that maybe the Bostonian will probably roll up from the inside barrier and get towards the pace. Now, look, I have gone with the Bostonian, and I'm pretty happy that Jay Ford's got the ride here. He well deserves this. He's a great rider. And he gets barrier number 1, which all he has to do is just get him out, get him towards the pace, and he should be well in the finish. He's got an excellent fresh record. 6 starts first up for 5 wins. He's very good on wet surfaces. He's had 2 starts on heavy track for 2 wins, and he's had 10 starts on soft track for 10 wins. 5 wins and 2 placings. He's won here at Randwick before. He's obviously a Group 1 winner, multiple Group 1 winner. And, you know, for me, he just claims really well off that inside barrier. Sometimes in these big races, you just want to go with who's going to get the best run of the race, and for me, he's the one. But look, I'm also going to be having a bet on number 8, Nicanova. I did mention him before, and the reason I say it is because his run last start, it was, you know, a week, just an open handicap, but it was a superb performance. It was over 1,050 metres. He's going to be much better stepping out the 400 metres here, and I like what the trainer did there, Tregear. He obviously just sort of brought him back just to switching him up and sharpen his focus a little bit. He ran so big in that race. His closing sectionals were phenomenal. He's obviously is Group 1 place. He finished 3rd in the Stradbroke. He finished 2nd behind Gaulois. So he's got decent form, and $27 is probably not the right price. He's very good on a wet track. He's had 5 starts on a soft track, 3 wins and a placing. He's had 3 starts on heavy track for 2 wins and a second. He's had 4 starts to the track at the distance for a win and 3 placings. So I think he's well in this, and he's $27. Regan Bayless in the saddle. I'm very keen to have a go at it. So it's at $27 for me. So be having something each way there. Number 13, Melody Bell. Look, her run was too bad to be true last time out. She was awful first up when she was beaten favourite there on that occasion on the heavy track. But potentially going back on this softer surface might suit her a bit better. She has 14 starts on a soft track for 9 wins and a placing. And look, she's obviously pretty decent second up as well. 6 starts for 2 wins and 2 placings. But she's going to have to improve immensely off that first up performance. But we can often see it happen. They go around as a favourite to disappointing. They come out at the bigger odds and they win. Obviously, she's paying $11 this time around. And so I think she's got a very good chance. So she goes in for 3rd for me. I think she can bounce back off that last start disappointment. And then in for 4th, the other one that I also think's worth a little bit of each way crack is number 15, Flit. Finished 2nd last time out behind Eduardo. I thought that was a really good run. I was very keen on her that day. And she comes in this 2nd up. I think that similarly to what I said with Savatiano last week at the PB Lawrence at Caulfield, I just think the Flit has probably been set for this race by James Cummings, whereas a few of these have got further targets in mind. So in saying that, Flit's got a very good chance. I think she could run a good race here in this Group 1 Winx Stakes as well. Now, other chances in the race, so I want to roll through them. Obviously, Dream Force has got the wide barrier to contend with, but if we get into that heavy range, I probably will push him back. But obviously, if we stay in this sort of soft range, or if it even dries out a little bit more, he really comes into the thick of things. He's got a great fresh record, 10 starts for 4 wins and 4 placings first up, so he's got a good chance, and he's very good at this track, very good at this distance as well. And I think he'll be running a good race. The other one who I think first up, I look Master of Wine. Obviously, he's got a great fresh record as well. 5 starts for 2 wins and 3 placings, and very good on a wet surface. My only concern with him is that he obviously has further targets in mind, so you have to be keeping a thought of that. Very elegant, very similar. She's obviously an absolute superstar. She loves the wet. She hasn't got a good fresh record though. 4 starts for just the 2 placings first up, but the wet track will suit her nicely. Brandenburg is the one that I'm very keen to see. She's obviously won once and had 2 seconds from his first up performances from 3 goes, and he's tried on a wet track. He's obviously he's run well at this distance before. He's had a good trial leading in behind Prague and Conte Patiro. He's got a real good chance, and he's the real interesting factor in this race for me, the $26. He's got all the ability in the world, and obviously has further targets in mind, but he could probably pick this one off at big odds. Start of the season, obviously very good if we get into that heavy range, and this is a big test for it, but if we get in that heavy track range, you can definitely give it a chance. And Conte Patiro obviously is a Group 1 winner, and $8 has been pretty well supported. Is a decent wet tracker as well, and a good first up performer, and a couple of nice trials leading in. So this is a fantastic race. There is so much depth to it, and there's a lot of intrigue with a lot of real gun horses running first up, and a couple of these that have probably been prepped and ready for this race here. I think the Bostonian can take it out at the $6 as the favourite. But look, I'm also very keen to have a play on number 8, Nick and Over. I think it's a very good bet at the $27 and $7.50 the place. So very keen on those 2 on top for me. In for third, number 3, Melody Bell, who, like I said, she can bounce back off that last start disappointment. Wouldn't surprise me. And then number 15, Flit, in for 4th. Moving on into race number 8 now. It's the Tab Benchmark 88 over the 1400 metres. And again, we get to see the return of the very promising Canaan. Much looking forward to its return. Look at the speed map here. I'd say that Just Thinking and You Make Me Smile will probably roll forward. Although I think You Make Me Smile ran yesterday at Hawkesbury, if my memory serves me correctly, on Rally Mile Day. So I don't think it'll be running. It'll be scratched. And so take out another, sort of, I guess, a bit of a speed element there. So I think it'll probably just end up taking on the pace and be able to take it up, and we'll give them something to catch. Look, I'm pretty keen to play away from Canaan here. I do really respect the horse and think it's got, I think it got a good chance. I do have it in my top 4, but I'm just not sure about it first up. It's got obviously further things in mind, and I just think that this distance range is going to be a bit too short for it, being the 1400 metres. So in saying that, I have gone with number 9, Think It Over, who I think is well over the odds here. I've got a really good first up record, 4 starts for 2 wins and a placing first up, and 5 starts on a soft track for a win and a placing. So if we don't get that heavy track range, I think that Think It Over has got a really good chance here. This horse did beat Adelong in a recent trial, which is pretty impressive, because I mean, this horse, Think It Over, obviously is going to get over a bit further. It's got form out at the distance ranges of 2,400 metres and 2,600, but was really sharp winning that trial, and I was pretty impressed with that. And obviously, it's a good fresh performer, has run well here at this distance range before, so it could potentially run a bold race at the $18. So I've got it on top at number 9, Think It Over. Ahead of number 6, Masaf, who I'm really looking forward to seeing this preparation. I've always had a pretty big opinion of him, and followed him since he's come here to Australia, and I think he can run a bold race first up. He's got a decent fresh record with 4 starts for a win and 2 placings. And I just think that he can run well. He's had obviously he's going to be looking for a bit further. He finished a second at Jakarta last preparation before he went for a spell of 2,520 metres, which has been pretty decent form. I mean, you look back, when was that? That was back on the 6th of June. So hasn't had a full, I guess, a full proper break, but it has had a bit of a freshen up. So I'm taking that as if it's a first up performance. And obviously 1,400 metres, well short of its best, but I do think it can run pretty hitting the line well. So it goes in for second for me. Number 11, Canaan, look, can't leave it out. Obviously, he's a superstar, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how he goes. And first up here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him this preparation. Hopefully, I'm hoping for him to run a really good run, and then I can take him in next start. But $5.50 for me, first up at the 1,400 metres. probably not too keen. Number 10, Just Thinking, like I said, we'll give him something to catch, and could probably lead all the way here for Waterhouse and Adrian Bott and Tim Clark in the saddle, obviously one of the better front riding jockeys around in the country. So this horse could definitely run a good race first up as well. Other chance in the race, Radipol's an interesting one at the with the new stable of Matt Smith, obviously formerly James Cummings, coming off a massive spell, but I wouldn't be surprised if he runs a bold race first up at $71. He's obviously not a good fresh performer, but his recent trial coming to this was pretty good behind Tory Joy and Bobby D. So, just never know. He's got the ability, and he could just run a bold race first up at the $71. Other ones who I think were a bit of a chance, number 7, Costello, could run well first up, obviously very well tried on a wet surface, but it hasn't got a great fresh record, got a very good second up record, but the fresh record isn't flash, but I could be expecting it to come over. And Poetic Charm has been in decent form and could be running well here as well. And Nudge is obviously the one who I'm really keen to see her go further on this preparation and get out to the further distances, but she could run okay first up as well. But look, I'm pretty keen with On Top Selection, actually. I think that it could catch a few of these off guard, and it is number 9, Think It Over, and it's going to be one of my best value bets of the program at the $18. So it goes on top for me ahead of number 6, Masafa. I also thought it was a little bit over the odds. In for third, number 11, Canaan, and in for fourth, number 10, Just Thinking. Moving on to the final race of the program, and it is the Cactus Imaging Benchmark 78 over 1,200 metres. Pretty decent field, an interesting field this one as well to finish off the program. Look at the speed map in this race here in the last number 11, Best Stone, I think will roll towards the pace with number 15, Bartley, not far off the 3-year-old, and number 13, To Your Health, will be rolling up towards the pace, as will Exaggerate. So not a stack of early speed in this race here, considering that we're going over the 1,200 metres. And I think that some of these well-fancy champs won't want to get too far back. I don't think number 9, Ice Bath will get too far back. I think she can run well here first up. I've really taken from her performances last preparation. She finished a third behind Dawn Passage of St. COVID Spirit. Obviously, Dawn Passage, we know what it went on to do, and a second behind IndyCar. I think that form line reads really well to suggest it'll run a good race here first up. So I've got Ice Bath on top for me, ahead of number 15, Bartley, the 3-year-old colt. Coming to this first up, I think he's in for a decent prep here, and I've always had a decent opinion of him, and his recent trial was pretty good. He closed in well there, wasn't under any riding at all, so I think he can run a good race, so he goes in for second. In for third, I've got number 10, Zakat, who comes this second up, was meant to run during the week and has actually opted to run in this race here on Saturday instead, so I like the positivity from James Cummings there. $11 about it, really good price. It's had three starts this distance range for 2 wins and a placing. Well tried on a wet track, and it has a good second up record, so it's got a good chance at the $11 in for third. And then in for fourth, I've got number 4, Crystal Breeze, who's been in some decent form and a decent recent trial since its last start performance, where it finished second behind Hand Spun, and I thought that was a nice run there. And obviously comes in this third up, which I think will be much improved. If looking at third up record, it has won third up from just one go before, so probably looking for that little bit of bit more rain in the track, a bit of sting taken out of it, but James McDonald in the saddle have to give it a pretty good chance here for me. So it goes in fourth. Was that fourth? Yeah, fourth. Other chances in the race. Look, I do think that Valdestana, obviously the favourite, has a chance here, but I just think it's had its chance its last 2 starts and hasn't got the job done, so it's a little bit concerning for me, but I would be surprised if it finishes in the top 4. And the other one who I think has a decent enough chance as well is probably is Paragon, who was just a little bit disappointing last time out at Rosehill behind Fender and Valdestana, but it bounced back to its win prior at Canterbury, where it beat Estrado. I could see it run pretty well here at the $20, a bit over the odds. But look, I'm very keen to play number 9, Ice Bath here. I think it's got a bit on these, and it is in for a very good preparation. So it goes on top for me, ahead of number 15, Bartley, the 3-year-old colt, and for second. In for third, I've got number 10, Zakat, and in for fourth, I have number 4, Crystal Breeze. Now, going back through the program and looking at my best bets of the meeting. So for my best bet of the program, I've gone very similarly to Moonee Valley. I've gone with a fair bit of value in this program here, but I'm going to go back to race number 5, and it is number 10, Rahiran, at the $7. I just think that he's got a very good chance, and I think he can catch a few of these before they get to their best. And So I'm going to have him as one of my best bets at the $7. Race 5, number 10, Rahiran. And the other one I'm pretty keen on comes in the last. So it's race number 9, and it is number 9, Ice Bath. But look, very hard to decipher this meeting. It's a very good competitive meeting. If we can find some value, we'll be having a big day. But if we can't, it could be a tough day for the punters. But look, best value and each way plays. Race number 8, numbers 9, Think It Over. I was going to make it a best bet at $18. I'm honestly that keen on it, but I'll settle it as one of my best value bets of the program. So it goes as one of my best each way value bets. Race number 8, number 9, Think It Over. And the other one that I was pretty keen on at each way price comes in race number 3, number 3, Frosty Rocks. I think it'll be right in the finish. So it's race number 3, Frosty Rocks at the $6.